Welcome to Utah's Fly Corner. I'll show you how to tie my high voltage Hares ear. This is the fly here. Basically a Hares ear. I just use different materials on it. But you get started here. Size 12. Gold bead on her. I like this baby to be heavy, get me down. So I'm using 20 lead. Use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wraps. Snap it off there. Pack it up under the bead. Bring that in towards me. Tilt the vise. Nice tight pinch on it, and pinch it off. 20 lead's a little tougher to pinch off than the lighter ones, obviously. But I'm going to use, the thread really doesn't matter, but I'm going to use uni round camel. What I like to do with the lead is I catch that little end in. I've caught that little bit of an end. I like to wrap it in and then push it up one more time. Should wrap the thread back and down. I'm going to tie in my tail, which is going to be natural wood duck. Take a decent clump. Decent group of feathers. Measure them up. I don't like a long tail on it. Long tails just break off. These short little stubby brushy tails good. Bring your thread back up. Trying to keep everybody on top. I like to bring those back down. Sometimes they break off clean, sometimes they don't. If they don't, just snip them off. Helps to cover that lead up more and helps you taper it out. Okay, for the rib, I put 2 ribs on her. I put a holographic gold rib. Holographic gold tinsel. Catch that in. And then I also do a gold wire rib to protect the tinsel. You can just do just the wire, just the tinsel, but the tinsel will tend to move on you. That's why I do the wire. And plus, this is how I tie my pattern, how I tie my high voltage hair spear. So that's what I do. Now I use my high test. Not high voltage Hares ear, high test Hares ear. I don't know what made me say high voltage, but high test. Use my high test dubbin. Now I dub it on real tight for the back of the body. I don't want it too shaggy in there. I don't want too shaggy of abdomen on it. Start in the back. Nice taper. That's about good. I'm going to bring the rib up the same way that we wrapped our dubbing. We're really buried in there. Wrapped up into the thorax area. Folded it back. Folded it in. It's nice and strong. And then we're going to follow that same track for the most part with the wire. Really biting in on that tinsel. And I'm going to catch the wire in 90-degree bend right down to the bead. And break them off. bring my thread back, wrap over top of the thorax, the abdomen a little. And my wing case is going to be pearl diamond braid. You can find the end of the thing here. I'll just cut myself off some. Bring the thread back up a little ways. You want it all the way back. You'll see why in a sec. Throw loose wraps, catch those loose pieces, loose end of the braid in. And you want to flatten it as you bring it back. You want to always tilt it up, see where you're at. If you're not happy with where it's at, flatten it loose again, bring it back. I like a decent sized wing case on my flies, so I go at least halfway back. Nice little stubby abdomen, nice fat thorax. Okay, now we're going to go with the same dubbing, which is my UV high test. This time we're going to dub it on a little bit shaggier. Nothing too crazy. I got too much on already. Got it on there real shaggy, so it doesn't matter. Tighten it up a little bit back here by the wing case. See where I'm at. A little more. That's looking pretty good. Take a little bit of extra off. Okay, now before you pull the wing case over, I'm going to put the legs on. You can find that feather I tuned up here. It's a brown partridge. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick with partridge. You can get your bigger feathers that you can't use for pretty much anything else. And you can peel off the fluff, and then just peel the fibers back, and then revealing the tip, and bring your scissors in there and snip off the tip, and you got yourself a nice little V. Now the V, you can make the legs as long as you want. They can be all the way back to the tail, they can be there, they can be little stubby legs. On this, I like my legs to be about a little bit past the point. Nothing too crazy. I pinch it on there, and I take one nice loose wrap, tighten it up, take another, see where my legs are at. This one I'm making with a little bit shorter legs. The one I showed you previously, I made long legs on it, which those work as well too. Nice short legs. Bring the thread back on them a little bit, cause them to flare out, which is good. And then snip your feather off. As Bob Dylan would say, they ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. And then bring your wing case over, pull it tight. And then I like to put my thumb over it, take one loose turn on it, pull it tight again, and really take some tight wraps over it. And lift it up, get back underneath it. Then we're going to snip this off. Nice and close. Now I'm going to do a whip finish here, but I'm going to do a dubbing whip. Meaning I'm going to have dubbing on the... I'm going to whip with dubbing on the thread. Make a short little piece here. Just going to clean that collar up. It's probably a little too much. We can get some of that off there. Go right around. Now you need to nestle your thread right in there against it. Make sure you don't hit your legs when you do this. Just bring it around, nice and tight. And come in front of that about 2 wraps. You can tighten it up. And that whip's just as good as any. It cleans it up. Well, you don't have a big thread bank there showing. Not that the fish would care, but It's my little fat little UV high test hare's ear. Great little pattern. As you know, all hare's ears are. Can't really tie a hare's ear wrong. But that's how I tie primarily most of my hare's ears. And that's my UV high test hare's ear. And now if you want to make it pop even a little more, you take your Loon UV clear fly finish and get some working in the tip here. Go. Careful when you're taking stuff out of the tips here. That way you don't want it to come shooting out at you. We're going to get just a little bit on here. Make a bubble on there. Hit it with the torch. Torch would be your light, obviously. More than enough time. That gives it a 3D, an even more 3D effect to the diamond braid. Just really makes it pop. And the Benny of the UV is, I could go throw this in water right now and catch fish with it. I'll have to wait for it to dry. That's the fly. Johnny Utah. Check me out on my blog, Utah's Fly Corner, at blogspot.com. Once again, thanks for